Welcome back to the third part of our series on spurious emission here in my messy workbench. We're gonna test spurious emissions on these radios. So we have 4 Baofeng UV-82s, the Baofeng UV-S9 is that's a tri-bander on 2 meter to 20 megahertz, so 1.5 meters, 1.25 meters and 70 centimeters. And there is the UV-82T. It's also a tri-bander, just like this one. For comparison, we also have a Yaesu VX-6. That's a tri-bander, although on 1.25 meter band, it doesn't transmit full power, just partial power. And then we have some mobile stage radios that also run on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Up here we have the TYT TH-8600, and here we have the FT-857d as well. So to set up the spectrum analyzer, we reset everything, then we go into the amplitude, mark our, we use this 30 dB attenuator, so we type in the 30 dB right in here. On the units, we are interested in watts right now. Leave everything like it is. Over on the display, we want to turn on the display line, and we want that on 25 microwatts, because that's the maximum we can have on the spurious emissions running running 25 watts or below on 2 meters. Interestingly, the FCC guidelines on the VHF specifies the 25 microwatts on a spurious transmission. That's both for the 2 meters as well as the 1.25 meter band. For 70 centimeters, if you look at the rules, there's actually nothing that specifies what is the appropriate spurious emissions what is the acceptable spurious emissions. So a lot of people I've seen just run with what is on VHF, so for the UHF part, but really can't tell what you really should be aiming for, what you have to be below it. Okay, so I'm gonna hook up the first radio and then I show you the result, and we're just gonna go through all the radios like that. Okay, the radio is hooked up, and we go up here, turn on the peak tables so we can easily read the power. Then we go over to trace and select max hold. Go ahead and transmit on the 2 meter band, and right here we have 4.17 watts output, and the highest spurious emission is right here. Let's turn off on the display here the screen text, that's kind of annoying. So let's go back to twice. So now you can see it better. So we see third harmonic, second harmonic, that's the first harmonic. Second harmonic, third harmonic and fourth harmonic are all above our 25 microwatts, and even up there's some peaky there. So that means on 2 meters this Baofeng is already not acceptable. Let's clear that, turn on max hold and transmit on 440, and again right here we have a spurious emissions. That's the first harmonic that's well above the 25 microwatts. So not sure if that is the same guidelines, but if you go by the same guidelines, the 70 centimeters would not be acceptable either. And it is fairly significant. Let's go to the next one, if we have problems with that as well. Okay, here we have the second one hooked up, going on a 2 meter. Oh, max hold missing. So this radio is actually transmitting a little bit lower power right here, and we still have spurious emissions on the second harmonic and on the third harmonic and fourth harmonic that are definitely over. No, wait, that would be from the frequency. Why, this would be the second harmonic, that would be the third harmonic. Those stray ones are, I don't know what those are. No, let's go the peak one. We select peak and we just go to the right peak. It skips that one. Let's go over here. So that's about 210 megahertz. Not totally sure what that spurious emission is right there. But let's go ahead and check out 70 centimeters. And again, forgot to hold. And we are definitely again above the line right here on our harmonics. So this radio would not be in compliance as well. Let's go with the third one. Okay, now we have the third radio hooked up. Let's clear this here and transmit on 2 meters. And again, we have there some harmonics that are above our 25 microwatts. So this the second harmonic right there, and over here that's more than the fourth harmonic, some random up there. Let's go ahead and check out 70 centimeters. And again, this Baofeng failed as well. We have a fourth one. So this is the fourth UV-82, and it's clear. And test that on 2 meters. And again, we get their harmonics above our baseline. On 70 centimeters, does that look any better? Nope. So this one is not good either. Okay, now we have the tri-bander UV-S9 Plus. So that's a different model. Maybe we see something different here. So let's go ahead and transmit in 2 meters. And no, we still see spurious emissions that are not acceptable. Let's check out 70 centimeters. One sec, that's low power. So this is again at the full 5 watts. Doesn't look too horrible bad. There's a tiny spike here that is 40 microwatts, so it's definitely above the 25 microwatts if you go by that value here. Let's check out the 1.5 meter band. So let's clear that and type in the correct frequency.
2, 2, 3, 4, 6, 0.
Okay, and let's go ahead and transmit. Max hold. Again, we have here a few sporadic emissions, and the interesting part is on this one it's even on the lower band side. So now we have the final Baofeng hooked up. So far it was a failure for all of them. This one is the UV-82T, also a tri-bander. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear the band, and it's all set up right. Let's transmit on 2 meters. Again, we see here spurious emissions. On 70 centimeters.
4,
I don't have that in yet.
4, 6, 0, 5, 0.
Let's clear that and go ahead, test that out. It's pretty close, but still, right here is a spur that is way too high for what we want. Now let's check out the 1.25 meter band. And again, we have spurious emissions right here. So that means all of the Baofengs failed. We still have the Yaesu to do. Let's see if that passes or if that fails as well. And if everything fails, then maybe it's my problem. Let's see. Okay, we have the Yaesu VX-6 hooked up to our spectrum analyzer, and we're gonna go with the 2 meter. Let's put you on hold and see what happens here. And we see that is quite nice. So we see we have a transmit power of 4.42 watts, and we don't have any spurious emissions here on any of them. So if we go ahead and check out the 1.25 meter band, let me change the frequency here. And clear the track here. And one sec, this is power low. Let's see if we can increase the power here. Okay, power high. And we transmit at 1 watt, and I don't see any spurious emissions there at all. Ah, there was a small slight peak that popped up right here. Let's transmit again. Yep, no change. So we are good on 2 meters and on 1.25 meters. Let's check out the 70 centimeter band. Okay, just had to change some settings there. So we cleared max hold, and now we do the Yaesu on 70 centimeters. And again, we see here our fundamental frequency at 3.69 watts. And we see a little spikes here, but those spikes are still below what is acceptable. So the Yaesu is definitely a radio that is okay. So this did not look very good for the Baofengs here. So we cannot transmit with these ones legally on anything really. The next question is, how does the TYT mobile station and the Yaesu mobile station here compete? So we have the Yaesu FT-857d set to 10, and if you start transmitting, so we see here we transmit with 10.14 watts, and the Spurious emissions are all still fine under the line. So it's great for 2 meters. Let's go ahead and check out the 70 centimeters. So I switch it over to 70 centimeters FM, and I had actually to dial up the power to 14 in order to get somewhere close to 10 watts. Press on max hold. So right here we see the Spurious emissions are still under the line here. It would be interesting to see what that does at the full power, but I don't have the attenuator to test out any more than 10 watts for me comfortably without frying out the spectrum analyzer. So this radio is fine. Let's go ahead and hook up the other radio. Okay, now I have the TH-8600 hooked up. So what are the guesses? Is the TYT a good radio, or is it gonna be like a Baofeng? I mean, probably quite a few people were expecting the Baofengs to fail. I was hoping some of them would pass, because now I have a whole bunch of radios I can use. So the TYT, that's the question. Is it gonna be better or not? We're gonna test that out on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. I'm just gonna push it up to medium power because I don't want to transmit the full 25 watts into my attenuator. That is pushing my attenuator too much, and the danger for my spectrum analyzer is percent. So let's go ahead and do the 2 meters first. And bummer, we do have their spurious emissions right here. That is above the 25 microwatts. So if you want to see what it does if we lower the power, we can go ahead and change it to the low power, and then good, yep, put it on hold. And now instead of 10 watts we transmit 5 watts, and we still have there some spurious emissions. So that didn't help us at all. So that's 2 meters. Let's go ahead and check out 70 centimeters. And nearly good. There's definitely a peak over at the 1.3 gigahertz range that just crosses it. It's 27, 28, 30, 33. So that is at medium power. So we transmit 10 watts. Let's just see what happens if we change that down to low power. Okay. Definitely don't want to screw that up. So on low power we actually good here, surprisingly. Nothing is going over. Okay, I'm getting a little gutsy here and put it on high power. I have the 30 dB attenuator here, and for additional safety a 6 dB attenuator. I did change my amplitude over to 60 dB offset. Another thing is you have to update the display line because that shifts as well once you do that. So I've changed that, and let's go to the trace, have max hold and transmit our 2 meters. And we see here there are still 2 spikes that go above it. I haven't quite figured out yet the peak table, what triggers spikes to be on the peak table, but right here these peaks are still above 25 microwatts. So this one is 52. Go to the next one. Nope, doesn't want to go over there. If you move it manually, right there, that pops up to 91. Oops, sorry, 91. So that's not good either. So let's go ahead and try this out on 70 centimeters. On trace, clear trace, and let's start transmitting here. And surprisingly I don't see any spikes here. So 70 centimeters looks okay, but still that is not good to use. Quite a bit iffy there, especially the 70 centimeters. Sometimes it's okay, other times it wasn't, right? We go ahead and no, this is fine. Yeah, just to double check, I set it back to medium power, took out the 6 dB attenuator, and we're on 70 centimeters and testing right here. And so 70 centimeters on medium power is fine too. And if you switch down to low power, right here, and transmit, so the 70 centimeters fine. But if we go over to 2 meters, so that is the medium power right now. So we have spikes above it. We go ahead and go down to low power. We still have spikes above it. So the 70 centimeter would work fine on this radio, but the 2 meters is definitely not within spurious emissions. So that is kind of a bummer for me, because that means I'm losing quite a few of the radios. None of the Baofengs, and the TYT is, I prefer 2 meters much more than 70 centimeters. Just dragging that along for 70 centimeters, probably not worth it in the car. So I am definitely on the market for more radios, since I only have this handheld one and then the VHF Yaesu. But that is pretty much eye-opening for me, that all of the Baofengs are just totally out of whack. Bit disappointing, because really the Baofengs are nice radios in the features wise. It's just that the spurious emissions makes them illegal for us to use for anything, any transmissions. An interesting part though is my wife goes fox hunting with me, and she uses the Baofengs for body blocking and does a very good job finding the foxes, considering just using the Baofengs and body blocking. Anyway, so that is all for today. Hopefully the next video will be a little bit more upbeat in things and not having to tell you that I'm losing 4, 5, 6, 7 radios all in one test. So that is kind of really a downer, but it does show you that just go ahead and buy a decent quality radio, because even though each of them were really minimal, 25 bucks, 30 bucks or so, if you add all of that together, it does add up to a lower end nice radio that could have been bought. Anyway, have a good one. See you in the next video.